Hello everyone, this is Planckera, and welcome to my universe. Hello again, Art. Glad you could make it early today. Anyway, I'm not sure if you can hear it in my voice, but I am having trouble with my throat today. So, today is going to be a bit of a shorter stream. I think I am going to cap myself at about an hour, just so that I don't hurt myself. Hopefully give my throat a little bit of time to rest, and hopefully by tomorrow I will be feeling a little bit better, and, you know, if I'm not, hopefully by the day after that. My allergies have been a little bit bad this week, so I have been taking some antihistamines and stuff, and that does tend to dry me out a little bit, and sometimes that can lead to a scratchy throat. So I am hoping... I didn't need to take any today, which is good. So I am hoping that by tomorrow, I should be feeling a little bit better. That's the hope anyway. So yeah, today, I wanted to draw more flowers. Because, like I said, we're gonna be drawing flowers for, like, all eternity for a while here. Because there's a lot, and I looked at some more pictures this morning, and I realized that I want a few more down at the bottom here. I did not feel like the flower density at the bottom of the picture was quite enough yet. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna draw a few more. Yeah, yep, I know, but I still want to draw, because I like drawing. Drawing is great. So I wanted to come in and still draw some things before I went ahead and just kind of took it easy for the rest of the day. That's alright. I'm pretty sure I can still get some stuff done in the hour I have allotted to myself. But it's okay, the fact that my allergies have been improving and I didn't feel the need to take any allergy medicine today bodes well. So hopefully with any luck, my throat can moisten itself back up tonight and all will be well tomorrow. That is what I am hoping for. But anyway, flowers. That is more exciting to talk about. Like I said, I just felt like my flower density at the bottom here was not quite where I wanted it to be. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw a few more. Probably make my my future self a little bit more work, but it's okay, she can handle it. All will be well. Can add a few bigger ones over here now. Actually, let me see. I think I want to turn these ones this way. Get a slightly different angle here. Because I do not want my little pattern here to get too monotonous. I want to make sure the things stay nice and interesting. Nah, I don't like that one. Let's try again. I think I have another way to turn it. Let's see, if I just do a little bit of this, and then make the ones coming out the bottom just a little bit shorter, a little bit more angled. I think this will also do what I want. Yes, yes, yes it does. Exactly what I want. Okay. I'm gonna put a few of varying sizes and directions here, and it's gonna take me a second to get as many as I want, but I think it'll look better once they're all here. basically I decided I wanted the top to be a little bit more sparse when it came to flowers, and the bottom to be a little bit thicker, and I think it'll make the bottom feel a little bit heavier, if that makes sense. Where... sometimes. I don't really feel the need right now. But, yeah, as I was saying, I think by making the bottom feel a little bit heavier, it'll... how do I describe that? Like, I'm drawing a frame, right? I'm drawing a frame that'll go around. That'll go around the entire thing. And I think by putting it at the bottom, it'll make it feel a little bit more grounded. Sometimes you don't want this, especially in a picture with dynamic movement like this. But in this case, I think it suits some of my other stylistic choices, so I'm filling in the bottom a bit more here. Still being pretty messy. This is not going to be what the final one looks like. Add a little guy right here. Just a little one. Okay. Maybe a couple of little ones over here too. So that's my goal. Just add a little bit more weight to the bottom, make it feel a little bit more grounded. And then I'm gonna have to be careful with where I put my branches when it comes time to draw the rest of them. So I'm just draw a few more flowers here. Like, this is why I said I'd be drawing flowers for eternity. It just kind of happens. Happens every time. I think I reached the end and I'm just like, you know, it'd probably look better if I drew a few more there. And then I start drawing a few more and I'm right. And so I draw a few more and then a few more. And suddenly there's a lot more flowers. That's alright. I'm very patient. And I like drawing flowers. Alright, how's that? Does that got what I want here? I think so. And in the same vein, I think I'm actually gonna take away a few up top. I don't know, I want to keep that one. Just so that it's actually a little bit thinner. No, I like that one. Maybe this one. Okay, there we go. This way there's just a little bit less. Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Okay, so now I guess it's time to actually clean all these guys up. Oh boy. So for here, I'm going to be mostly focused on getting the outer shape the way I want it. I'm not worried about the inside just yet. I just want the outer shapes to look nice so that this way I can go ahead, lock the layer, and I no longer have to worry about coloring outside the lines. That's basically the goal here. Get everything to the point where I can lock the layer. And I also need to check for like stripe pixels and stuff. I have already seen quite a lot of stripe pixels. But yes, what you were saying of needing like lines on the interior, eventually, yes. But I'm just not really worried about it yet. Because I'm going to be using those bright white lines I've been using for everything. And I will be adding those afterward. But before I go too deep into adding all of those, I want to make sure that my outer shapes are looking the way that I want them to. And I'll probably add some lines here and there just to help me see what direction the petals are pointing. That kind of thing helps me sometimes. But that's about as far as I'm going for this particular step. So I just gotta do this for each and every flower. Oh, man. I always ask myself why I draw so many, but then I look at the result and I'm like, okay, I know exactly why I draw so many. Just one of those things. I kind of like the little fold I accidentally put into this one, so I'm gonna keep it. Has like a neat little fold in the blossom there. I think it looks nice. I'm gonna keep it. Sometimes many unplanned things like this happen, where I'm drawing something and my hand just has its own ideas. And if they're good ideas, it's like, you know, let's just do that. That sounds great. Okay, I'm gonna go take a look at what little buds look like again, just to make sure that I draw them right. A lot of the time they're kind of on branches and stuff, but I'm not drawing that for the time being. Okay. So I think the way I want to handle these little buds is basically there's the part where the flowers come out, and then there's like part of the stem, and it looks kind of like this. And when they're very closed, they're just very round, and they have little, the petals are like all curled up like this. So I think this is what I'm gonna go for the little buds. And then the ones that are just opening, like this one here, I'm gonna do something similar. I'm gonna round off the bottom because they are very round on the bottom. And they're gonna have some petals coming out because they're just starting to bloom, and it'll be very nice. And then this is the base again. And then this petal is in the back. And then we got a little petal just starting to form up there. So yeah, you can see that I am not necessarily ignoring the interior entirely, but mostly. Mostly. It's just not my concern yet. Only doing as much as necessary for me to understand exactly what it is that I'm drawing. And then I'm just gonna have some of these little tiny ones like this, but may not even get any shading at all. I think he's fine like that. He'll get the white line when the time comes. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna get any more detailed than that. And I haven't decided whether or not I want to color in the whole area here on, like, the buds here. I might. I might even use a different color. I'm not sure. That's a decision I think I will make after handling all the lines and stuff. But for now, just gonna go in and very gently, very gently get those little blossoms in there. Yeah, I think that looks nice. So the ones that are in the back, I'm gonna keep dark for now. I think it should look pretty good once I get to it. And sometimes I might clear some old guides that helped me, like the purple center I had in there. But at this stage, I'm going to be drawing very carefully, because this is the point where everything has to look right. I am pushing the image to its final state. So, everything must be perfected. As if I don't, the image will get to its final state, and it just won't be ready. And that would be sad. Have to go back and render a bunch of stuff again, and that would also be sad. There we go. Honestly, I'm kind of looking forward to drawing all the branches too. I think that they'll be pretty fun to draw. Okay, so this one I decided was getting some shading, so I'll go ahead and draw all the little bud parts. And I guess this one I did too. Gonna add a little friend for him over there. This one looks like it's just starting to come out, so I'll draw it like that. Okay, there we go. Okay, I think that's most of the top there, so now it's time to figure out what I was trying to do with some of these. That's always the fun part of rendering, and by fun, I mean it maybe drives me a little bit crazy. But after a while, I kind of have to interpret what my past self was going for with some of these. And I think what she was going for was something like this for this one. I think. But even if I don't have it entirely correct, as long as it still looks good, it should be fine. It should be totally fine. The good news is that going back through all this, I still think it all looks pretty good. So this is basically just a matter of cleaning. I don't really feel the need to go and make extensive changes to anything. Just cleaning it all up so that this way I can finish rendering it all. Also, I swear, there are like twice as many flowers in it now compared to when I was drawing my little doodle to make sure that I liked the concept. Sounds like me, alright? Sure does. Alright, let's get some little petals in there. Just little tiny baby petals. There we go, that looks good. So on to the next one. I'm trying to keep this fairly snappy, because I would rather not spend all eternity rendering flowers. This is actually one thing that I found helpful when rendering large amounts of repetitive objects that you don't necessarily have a brush that you can kind of cheese it with, is I tend to do it in stages, where rather than go one flower at a time, get it completely done, and then move on to the next one, I go through them doing one or two specific things. In this case, I'm just focusing on the outer edge of the flowers. So I render the outer edge, I put in that little dent that's common in Sakura flowers, and then I move on to the next one. I don't worry about anything else, really. And then when I do the next pass through all this, I'll start worrying about those other little things. And then next pass, I get the feeling is going to be the kind of white lines that I put on everything. And then once they all have the white lines, I'm going to focus on like some interior shading and that kind of thing. Or maybe I'll do interior shading first. I'm not actually sure. Maybe I'll switch back and forth. Who knows? But point being, I just like to do things in passes where I can. I think it kind of lets me get into the groove a little bit more easily. Kind of lets me not necessarily go on autopilot, but something close to it. Where I just get used to one specific motion, and I can kind of go from there. Alright. So far, so good. Honestly, I'm glad that it's all working out so well, because I have been pretty sleepy with all the changes to my sleep schedule. It's definitely gonna take me a little while to get used to all that, but I'm getting there. And overall, I'd say it's going pretty well. Yesterday, I took my daughter to the park for the first time since changing the sleep schedule, and I have found that there are a lot more kids there in the evenings than the mornings, which is very nice, because now she has many more kids to talk to. And she just had such a good time yesterday. It was fantastic. She really is the type that can just easily go up to anyone and start talking. Figure out a game to play. It's great watching her interact with other little kids. Absolutely wonderful. I really wanted to take her today too, but I don't think the parents would appreciate me coming out with a cough like this, which is unfortunate. Even though I'm pretty sure what I have is not contagious. It is being dried out from antihistamines. But still, I think I should probably respect that and not go out today, even though I'm a little bit sad. See, this one, had already kind of started the little cuts into it. And I think they're in good spots, so I'll go ahead and keep them. Just gotta make this outer edge nice and smooth, and I actually am having a little bit of trouble seeing him against that background, so I'm gonna go turn him green. All I did was hit Control-I on my keyboard to invert the colors, and now I'm just gonna paint in green because I find it a little bit easier to see. Yeah, she really likes people. He's a very social little one. Okay, this one I can't keep though because I'm changing the angle of this blossom a little bit. Gotta do something more like this now. A decision arbitrarily chosen by me in this moment. But I think it looks good, so. Aw. It's okay, I get the feeling she's gonna be the type that will adopt introverts. Just because she is extremely enthusiastic about everything. Okay, this edge, definitely messy. But that's why I'm here now. To make all those edges that are messy no longer messy. And before I get this last one, I'm gonna go get the flower behind it. Get all little flowers around here. Take my two colors, so this way I can easily switch between them by pressing X, because I am lazy and I like being able to hit a single button instead of having to use Control to bring up the eyedropper and pick the color that way. Alright. Man. Okay, I think I'm at the third waypoint. Getting there. There's just a lot. There's just a lot. That's okay. It's kind of nice to have something relatively easy to do while I'm still feeling a little bit sleepy. And I'm still getting used to sleep schedule changes. Because this kind of thing is indeed something I think I could do in my sleep. I think I'll still keep this dark line there. It's lighter now because the colors are inverted, but once I switch them back, it'll be dark. So I think I'll keep that like that. Gonna keep it relatively thin. Make sure that I like the shape of the flower here. I think it's pretty alright. And then go ahead and add those darker lines back. I use this method to render things enough where I just invert the colors because it's really, really easy to get the original colors back when I invert them. I just invert them back. So I like it when I have a little bit of trouble seeing. But I've done it enough that I can still see this lighter color as a darker color. My brain has gotten used to it. And it's the kind of thing where if you want to do, no matter what it is that you're doing, if you do it enough times, your brain will just understand. And you'll be able to see things a little bit differently. I actually think this is true for just about any skill, not just drawing. Sometimes you just gotta get your reps in. Although, actually, that reminds me, I've been studying Japanese very diligently for a while now. And how do I describe this? So when you read something in your native language, your eyes just kind of scan over the words and you understand them. You don't necessarily have to go through and slowly look at each individual letter to make sense of what it's saying. And I am starting to get that way with hiragana, so I am very excited. That is like the first big sign that, hey, I am actually starting to pick up the language. Because I can just scan my eyes over the letters and I actually know what they say. So, that was a very exciting thing to have happen. Started happening for the first time relatively recently. And that kind of thing always makes me very happy. No, that's too big. I want these little guys to be a little bit smaller. Yeah, that's better. And just a few little bumps there for represent where the flowers will bloom when it comes time for them to come out of their little bud. Okay, now what was I going for here? Is the bud supposed to be on top or underneath? Because I can tell that there's a bud here, and then a flower. I am not sure, so I am making the executive decision right now that the flower is on top. So I'll go ahead and put the entirety of the bud in a shadow here. Which, like I said, because I have the colors inverted, will appear lighter until I put them back. I just inverted the colors. So that's just Control-I on the keyboard, or I think that's might be up here in like layer. Can you even see my menus? No, you can't, but I don't actually know where it is, because I just always use the keyboard shortcut of Control-I. And it inverts the colors, so I can just switch back between these as I want. I was just having a hard time seeing the pink, so I wanted to draw with a darker color. Okay, how am I gonna do this one? So I think I'll cut in like this. Draw the little bud that got cut off here. And then clean up on top. Yeah, that order works fine. This one looks a little bit weird to me, though. I'm gonna fix this little pedal here. His shape's looking a little strange. But there we go, that's better. That is a bit better. I guess that one is fine the way it is. There's a few little spots that I just put a little color down, and I think it's fine to leave them just like this. Alright. I got another little one just wanting to start blooming. It's ready to come out of that little bud. Ready to come out and show its face to the world. There we go, and I think that edge looks okay. I'm gonna just give these little blossoms a little bit more shape. Let this one be coming out a little bit further than some of the others. Even given the treatment that I'm giving some of the other little blossoms. I'll draw some of the ones that are going to show up in the background here. Just like that. Alright. Yep, I can feel the flower density getting stronger as I continue going down. There's a lot more flowers now. Take me a little bit longer to get through each one. No wonder I felt like I was flying through the first third. This is where things get serious. No, this one needs to be more like up here. Just to match with the perspective I was putting on the flowers there. But I think that works. This area is kind of out of the way, so I don't need to go like super hard like I do on the face and stuff. I can just go maybe moderately hard. Just enough to make sure it's all doing what I want. Okay, so this one, I'm having the bud a little bit more closed off. He's just starting to bloom, but he hasn't quite decided he wants to come out yet. Doing his best. He is doing his best. Yeah, the ones down here look pretty alright. I was trying to keep things relatively neat, but I thought that it would all be messier than this, so it's a nice surprise to see just how well my past self was doing getting all of this relatively clean. So thanks, past self, you saved me a bunch of effort. I appreciate it. This one feels a little bit lopsided. Let's see, how am I gonna fix that? I just don't like how big this petal is. Guess I'll cut into it like this, and then I'll try to erase. I will clean every flower in the screen, of course! Every single one! I'm at the point where the painting is going to start taking its final shape, so of course, I gotta clean everything. Every single thing that I want to exist in the picture has to be drawn. There's no real shortcut there. It's if I want it to exist, I draw it. And if I want it to look nice, I gotta make it look nice. No magic here, just lots and lots of time spent rendering. And it's fine if I kind of end up beating it up a little bit like this. I will just go in and fix it, but I didn't want to leave that spot really lopsided like it was before. I thought it looked kind of bad, so I needed to go back in and fix it. All there is to it. Right here I also think looks kind of bad, so let's let that kind of tuck in to this petal here. Kind of like this. So we'll let this one exist on top a little bit more. Just like that. That is perfect. Alright, now I can start cutting into this one. Get the last few little shapes here, and there we go. Okay, on to the next group. Almost at the halfway point. Huzzah! Almost there. This one looks pretty alright though. So I don't have much work to do for him. Once again, I must thank my past self for staying relatively neat here. While drawing all of the flowers. Okay, what was I trying to do here? What was I trying to do here? So I think I see one flower here. This one is turned on its side. I think this is probably just extra. Okay. I think I see it. Okay, and there's another flower back there too. But I think I see what I was trying to do. This is very much a moment of I must interpret what my past self was going for. What direction are you going, though? Okay, so I see one on its side here. This is your 5 petals. Okay, I got it. I see it. Gotta cough one moment. Okay. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what the shape of this flower is. I can assume it comes down like that and then gets covered up by this one. So something like that. And it looks like it's got an arm going out here. I'll go ahead and draw it completely. It's probably doing something like that. And I'll draw the blossom sitting on top here. Okay. The visage is becoming apparent. Let me see, you're looking just a tad lopsided there, so let's clean you up a little bit more. There we go. Okay, and I saw a little stray pixel there, took care of that, and now I can do this one. So what's going on here? I see four blossoms here. So I'm assuming that the fifth is somewhere on the other side, and we don't see it, which is fine. So there we go. I think something like this is what I was going for. And it'll make more sense once I add the lines to it. But this is fine for now. Okay, this one is on top, so I'll go ahead and do that. Put some of these details back. This one is also on top, so I will get that curve back in. Alright, and then we have another tiny little guy that was on top too. So I'll get this tiny little guy back on top. There we go. That was quite a cluster of flowers there. Definitely took me a second to interpret that, but I think this is what I was going for. And now I can just happily get the rest of the little details in here, and all should be well. They should all be pretty clean. Yep, looks good to me. Go ahead and get your little split in there, and then I can clean up the rest of these little petals here. Because we got another clump. Another little clump I have to interpret. Okay, what was I going for here? I'm gonna go ahead and draw the ones in the back first. So I see that there's like these petals that are going into the back. And then these ones going in front. This is clearly one on its side. So I can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals. Gonna let this one kind of stick a little bit more. Let it be a little bit more on its own. And we'll get rid of this little spot right there. And now its pointy side is a little bit more clear. Okay, yep, that looks alright. I can clearly see that flower. And it looks like I wanted to draw a little bud right next to it. So I will go draw that tiny little bud right next to it. Well, I guess it's not a tiny one. Yeah, it's not especially small or anything. But I'll still draw it. Just hang it out right here. I don't know what this is, so I'm gonna erase it. I will only keep the spots that represent this bud and this petal. Let's see, what direction do I want you to be turning? I think this way's fine. So we won't see much of the little petals on the backside there, just these guys, where they are starting to kind of come out. Something like that. Okay. Now it's just this one in the middle. Man. Man, I just drew so many flowers. They're lovely. I love them. But why do they have to take so long to draw? Okay, and I just want to get the final little details on all these guys here. And then I will be ready to move on to the next clump. I'd say for me, this is going pretty fast. I am quite pleased. I was worried I might be a little bit more out of it, but all is well. Gotta believe in myself more. I don't like how long this petal is. I'm gonna make it a bit shorter. And I'll go ahead and compensate by making the petals in front of it a bit larger. I'm not too worried about like the width of the shadow there. It's not really important yet. But I just did not like how long this petal was. There we go, that should be fine for now. So I'll go ahead and do the next one, and the next one is going to be an easy one. There's nothing on top or behind it, it's just a simple flower. Heck yeah. Nothing to interpret here, just flower. Okay, I think this one is a little bit thick. So I'm gonna go make it a little bit skinnier right here. And it'll be very nice. This one is also a little bit thick, so I will go ahead and make this one a little bit skinnier too. Perfect those shapes. Make those shapes super nice. Exactly as I want them. That should be fine. I think in normal circumstances, I might have pushed some of these petals a little bit closer to each other, but I have my symmetry tool on. You can see the little icon up there. So it's mirroring all of this to the other side, and I don't want to have to pull shenanigans if I edit one. So I'll just leave it like this. I think it looks perfectly fine. This one's just a little bit more spread out. That actually does happen occasionally. In my references, I have seen some blossoms that just look a little bit more spread out like this. There we go. I think that is a perfectly fine shape. Now I'll just get those little cuts in there, and there we go. On to the next one. This one's hanging off. Do I want to keep it? Nah. I'll go ahead and clear that one. Okay. So this guy looks like it's starting to bloom a little bit to me. So I will draw it like that. And a shadow part in the middle, so this way I can easily draw the rest of the petals. Going up like that. And then another little shadow part where the bud turns into bloom. Something like this. Okay. Next flower. So I'll do a couple of more and then I should probably stop just to avoid overworking my throat. So I'll finish all the ones on this branch. And then I will do the other half of this next time, which will be Saturday. Because tomorrow is going to be more Dead Cells. Looking forward to it. I've been having a pretty fun time with that game. But yes, the next couple of drawing sessions is basically going to be like 90% flower. I might switch to some other things occasionally if the tedium of drawing a million flowers gets to me. Because it might. Let me see, I don't know what's going on there, so I'm gonna redraw this half of this little guy here. I'll let him kinda make these ones a little bit smaller, so this way it looks like it's kind of receding into the background. Let him be angled this way. You can see the center is probably like somewhere around here. But there we go. Put a little bit of perspective on those flowers. I'll let this one live on top. So I'll put a little shadow there. There we go. Clump interpreted. Not 100% sure what's going on here, but I think that this is probably fine. Things like that happen all the time. And apparently I've decided that this one was on top in the past. And I am fine with that decision, so I'll keep it like that. You can see that I am not always super controlled. I don't always know exactly what's going on, but you know, it's fine. You don't have to. You can figure it out. Just get your ideas down, figure out what you like, go from there. That is how I roll. Okay, and I can see that this is the bud part of a bud. And this guy is probably just still hiding a little bit. I'll let this guy live on top of the one that's starting to bloom. Maybe it'll encourage him to bloom too. There we go. I think that's about all I need there. And I see this little guy coming out of his little bud, ready to greet the world. So I'll give him plenty of room to blossom here. Plenty of room. Okay, I'm gonna go turn these pink again and take a look. How's everything looking? How is everything looking? Pretty good, I'd say. The flowers look, if you compare the top ones to the bottom ones, I'd say that they look a little bit more clean and refined. So I'll take it. So let's see, next time, bottom half of my frame, and then we'll start adding in the lines. The lines are, they're gonna definitely gonna take a while. That's okay. I think I have some ideas for what I want to do with these, though. I'm not going to put nearly as many details in these as I did in, like, her hair or the rest of her face. Just because I do want her face to be, like, the most detailed part of the picture. because that will draw people's attention to her face, and I think that is important. These are just kind of meant to exist on the side there. Be something nice to look at. Not something that I necessarily want people to stare at. Well, anyway, this is where I will end for today. Hopefully by tomorrow, my throat will be feeling a little bit better, and I can talk a little bit more normally. So, thank you all for coming, and I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I will see you all tomorrow.